Tuesday night podcast, the Beat Radio Bali. And we'd like to welcome you to the show. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
DJ ST. It's Tuesday night podcast. Good evening. This is Tuesday night podcast. And I'm with DJ Lolah. And they call me DJ ST for some unknown reason. Welcome to the show, everybody. Lolah.
Hi.
All right, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so we start the show normally with 3 simple questions.
Okay.
Right. Where are you from?
Gold Coast, Australia.
Hold on. How old are you? And how did you get involved in music business?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So my name is Lolah. I'm from the Gold Coast, Australia. I'm 31 years old.
Right.
Which means I've been a DJ for over 10 years.
Okay.
I first got into music, long story short, I met my dad when I was 15. He was a DJ. He played incredible house music. I fell in love with house. I started working on the door of a nightclub when I was 16 with a fake ID because I loved music so much.
Whoa.
And since then, I've had this really, really long, beautiful relationship with house music.
House music. So you started off in the Gold Coast?
Yes.
And the Gold Coast, we had Brett recently on the show. He was telling us all about those early days in Gold Coast, which, 10 years ago, right? And what kind of music were you playing then?
I started off with house, that beautiful ministry of sound that I was going to Park Life and all of those kinds of festivals. And then I kind of transitioned into EDM. That was just a natural progression for me at 21 years old. It was fun. It's what my friends were listening to. I was playing at festivals like Stereosonic. And then I moved down to Melbourne to follow the more underground kind of scene. I did my first trip over to Ibiza and Europe.
And that was like a booked gig?
Yes.
You were famous? Yeah. Was that?
I mean,
No. You got to be famous to get booked in Ibiza. Everyone's
gift of the gab and knowing people. And then I actually moved to Europe and I was a TV presenter in Ibiza working for Essential.
Wow.
Ibiza, getting to interview all of my idol DJs, and then I fell even more in love with music, changed my DJ name to Lolah. It used to be my real name, Katie Valentine. And
well, that's a pretty good name too.
I know, but I tarnished it with all of the EDM and blonde hair and and
the wild
all
nights.
the things my agency made me do. And here I am now.
So, but wait a minute. That was one trip to Ibiza, and then you stayed in Ibiza? Or is it you went back again?
I went to Ibiza many times. I actually lived there for a whole season when I was a TV presenter. But most of the time after my transition, sold everything I owned and moved to Europe. After my first Europe trip, I came back from Europe. Melbourne felt really, really bleak for me. I had Barcelona written on my mirror. And one night I got home from a gig a little bit too drunk and I sold everything I owned and jumped on a plane to Spain and reinvented myself.
And how long ago was that?
That was 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've been living in Ibiza and
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Berlin.
Not Portugal.
Ibiza.
I saw Lisbon somewhere.
Yeah, I've done all of them.
So
I've been around.
Yeah, haven't we all? So that was, but you'd already got back into the underground, right?
Yeah.
So what sort of sounds were you playing back then, 5 years ago?
So back then, when I naturally progressed into underground, I was playing. I changed my name completely, so I was playing at Revolver and Circus and Breakfast Club and all these places, developing my sound, and it was quite. How would you say, a bit grungy before, and then it kind of progressed as I spent more time on the dance floor in Europe, as I traveled and I went to these amazing festivals in Germany and Romania, and it kind of made this progression to this very after party sunrise kind of minimal vibe, which I really loved, and that's how I kind of found something that really worked for me that stuck around.
But that was kind of sexier, darker,
flirtier,
Why not? Indeed. Actually, I've got a track of yours here that I fished up earlier today.
Damn, he did his research.
Oh, not much, but but this is called Conquer.
Yes.
I think it's kind of indicative of your sound. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like minimal,
Dirty.
techno.
Dirty.
Oh my god.
Dark. I did a 3 a.m. remix of that. There was 3 parts to that track. I did a 3 a.m. remix and I did a 6 a.m. remix, so I was able to play that in the after parties too.
Oh really?
Yeah, and that's my voice turned into.
That's not something I was going to ask you actually. Was the how you actually get those?
It's me.
What do they call them? Takes?
Yeah.
Audio takes? Are they normally you and your friends, or is it?
No, they're normally me. Yeah.
There's one. Is this the track where there's some? It sounds like some
Dude.
black dude or something getting very sexy on the ecstasy or something around
that. It's
that.
me. On a few wines in the middle of Berlin in some dark, dirty studio.
Yeah, so it's getting very.
I haven't heard this in so long. Feels like another life ago.
It was only a year ago, wasn't it?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what about Bali? How did that get into the picture?
I mean, so I'd just gotten back from a 4-month tour. I did a lot of Europe, Austria, Germany, Spain, Portugal, and then I did my Asia tour, Australia tour, and I got back in February and I did my favorite gig in Barcelona, like 1,200 people playing my favorite gig, and something in my stomach went, oh, uh-oh. Maybe after 10 years you don't enjoy this anymore. And I shut it up, sculled a glass of wine. I was like, no, I love this. And after the show, I was like, oh, no, I don't feel so good about this anymore. And 2 weeks later, we went into a pandemic. I just received my first sound healing in Bali. I'd been here on tour a month beforehand, and I went up to Pyramids of Chi and had this really powerful sound therapy. I didn't even know that sound was a therapy. And I went into the pandemic. I studied the science of sound, sound therapy. I studied the psychology of well-being, and I started becoming a sound therapist. And now, fast forward to 13 months later, I now have a fully functioning online business guiding people back home to themselves through sound therapy, through hypnosis, through psychology, and all of these beautiful tools that I picked up on my own mental health journey. And I endured a very, very long lockdown in Portugal. And I felt that we were about to go back into that. So I jumped on a plane here, and 6 months later, here I am, living my wildest dreams.
Still doing your sound therapy, as you were saying. But what is sound therapy, and what was the mental issues you had a year ago?
So the mental issues I had before that, before a year ago, I had really, really bad bulimia. I had a terrible eating disorder bestowed upon me by my DJ agency. God forbid, I was starting to get into my mid-20s. I was starting to grow hips. I had a bit of a gluten intolerance, and there was a photo of me at a gig. I had a little bit of a bulge belly. It was probably beer, to be honest. And it got sent around my agency office, and everyone was making comments about how much weight I'd put on. And
the pressure was on.
The intern sent me a screenshot of that, and these people I trusted with my life. They were my booking agent, my marketing, And when I received that, I started to starve myself, and my nervous system went, ooh, if you get fat, if you start to look imperfect in any way, then you're going to lose all of this. And it was my life. DJing was my everything. My status was everything. You know, I came from very low self-worth.
Sure. But isn't it all about the music?
Exactly. And that's when I started to realize that maybe it wasn't all about the music. And so I started to starve myself. That naturally progressed into bulimia. And that stuck around for 3 years. So that one kind of message that my agency sent around kind of dragged out for a few years until I found hypnotherapy, and I fixed myself. A 3-year addiction I fixed in 1 month with 4
With
4 sessions with
hypnotherapy.
With my hypnotherapist, and we now, I was one of his worst cases, and now I'm one of his best success stories. And we run an online program guiding people through addiction, eating disorder, limiting self-beliefs, So it turned out to be this most amazing thing. But 1 year ago, when I was in quarantine by myself, I remember receiving emails going, "You've been cancelled here, da 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 da. We're in a pandemic. Something really shitty was happening in the world," and I was stuck inside this tiny apartment with my cat in Lisbon. And
how long had you been there before that?
I'd been in Lisbon for 1.5 years, but we went into a really intense lockdown. And I just started studying sound healing. I started asking on Facebook if anyone was going through an eating disorder, whether I could coach them for free. And then it started into donation based. And every time a friend would call me, I'd be like, "Lay down. Let me do sound therapy on you," and they'd come out of it going like, "Oh my God, like, what did you just...
I feel amazing.
I feel amazing. What did you just do?" And then I started building myself up, and fast forward to now, I gave 2 really powerful, beautiful sound healings today.
So what is the sound healing?
So a sound healing is...
I'm sure we're all interested to find out what it is.
I'll go to the science behind it. So our ears are connected to every single organ in our body. And when we have things like anxiety, depression, gut issues, any kind of issues, it's like our body is an orchestra, and one band member is slightly playing off key, and sound therapy goes in through the ears. These beautiful instruments that I have 3 crystal alchemy bowls that are tuned to 432 hertz, which is the natural baseline of nature and the natural baseline of our bodies. Some of the music that you hear in clubs and on the radio, that horrible, like, catchy kind of music, is actually 444 hertz, which is really bad for our bodies. So the instruments that I play are really good for your body. And I use drums and whistles and all of these kinds of things to bring the body back into balance.
And what hertz are they, those?
432.
432.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the music, I'm not sure if it's the same hertz, but it seems to be 441 or 48 on all these tracks. Is that a reality?
Yeah, so I mean,
is it right or wrong?
That's not really right or wrong. But if you look at some of the stuff that's you get a catchy song in your head and you're like, "Damn it, like, get out of me." They're actually programmed.
Oh yeah, really?
To be quite repetitive and
enter into your body. Somehow.
Yeah, and have an effect on the nervous system. So when you go out, imagine you go out to a festival and you hear a song that you really love, and it actually makes you kind of a little bit teary, or it evokes something in you. There was a scientific study that they played radio music and metal music to a plant, and even though the sunlight was facing at the speaker, they grew away. And then you played the sound healing bowls and the 432 hertz, and the plant's actually wrapped around the speaker. So that goes to show what happens to our nervous system.
Yeah, but it's amazing what you can see on social media. But it's all good. But obviously it helps you, right? It helps you to get over this anxiety, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Anxiety? There seems to be mental health issues all around us and all the time. I was watching that Serpent series on Netflix and just finished it last night, and I was thinking, geez, this guy is a classic bipolar type character. I haven't seen it. Oh, it's really quite. At the beginning, I didn't think much of it, but in the end, it was quite good. And this characters that are badly treated when they're children, and then later in life, all these evil. In his case, it was totally evil. Character come out in his character that ends up murdering people and stuff. But if these people have an opportunity to try to heal themselves, it could be a different world.
Yeah.
So that's a good part of what you're doing anyway. So do you find that's now taken over from your DJing, or is it?
Yeah, 100%. I haven't DJed in quite a while. There have been opportunities, but the thought of going back to what I was doing, some mornings I was waking up in Berlin, having a coffee shot and a tequila shot and walking into a club playing till 11 a.m. And then flying at 3 p.m. to Austria to play at an after party that night. Getting home on the Monday, taking it till Thursday to get my circadic rhythm and my nervous system back into balance. It's like, oh, we got to do it all again.
Do you really want to do that? Or maybe you could play different music and play different venues.
I would like to, transition over into doing more day parties and sunsets and things like that. I was actually at Bloom Festival last weekend and I did sound therapy there. And before they had a DJ playing. So it was like everyone laid down, received a sound healing, then got to get up and dance. And it was this new kind of, for lack of a better word, conscious way of partying, and it was really amazing.
And there was no alcohol or
no, God, yeah, no. Of course there was.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't that kind of health scene.
It wasn't that kind of.
So what about this minimal techno? What do you call it? Minimal tech.
What about it?
What does it do for you? Like what? How does it fit within all this sound healing?
So I've had a few people who have seen me play a DJ set who have come to my sound healings and they said that they feel the exact same as when they come to see me DJ because I toy with the nervous system. It's like this build up and then it's like release. The drop. So when I do sound therapies, I do this kind of toying and building up of the nervous system and then it...
And that's the same thing with the minimal.
Yeah.
And the first time in Bali, when was that?
I played here at Sky Garden like 6 years ago.
Another one.
Were
you called Lolah?
No, I was Katie Valentine then. I had blonde hair and my little tiny dresses.
An EDM superstar.
And then I played here again just over a year ago before the pandemic. I came here and I played at Jungle and Opera. I did a few gigs around the island back room and on my way to Australia. Yeah, but I'd never been here for more than 3 days in a row, and then I just ended up moving here on a whim. And
how has it been since then? Like, do you suddenly feel like at one in Bali? Or is it just another stopover?
No, it's been a really beautiful experience. The kind of lifestyle that you can have here, just taking away the simple mundane tasks of like laundry and cleaning and all of these things. I feel like I have so much more time. But also I'm surrounded by so many people who want more from life. Not to diss anyone that I used to meet in the clubs, but these people have just this such passion for life and it really rubs off on you. And I feel like I've accelerated my business quite a lot in the past.
And where is that? Where are you meeting these people?
Online. I was at Bloom Festival last weekend, met some really amazing entrepreneurs.
And it's like around the cafes or the beach clubs or something?
God, no, not at the cafes. Some of the... I really want to start something like Overheard in Bali because some of the conversations
I stay well clear from them. How about love life? How's your love life?
Wow.
Bali?
That's an intimate question.
Come on.
I was actually in a long distance relationship that recently split up because it was hard to maintain during a pandemic. So I was recently single last weekend, went to a festival with a bunch of beautiful men.
Nice.
And I had a fantastic time. But what I learnt last weekend at this festival, I did a few workshops and TED Talks, which were available in this music festival. I learnt communication and communicating boundaries with men and not when I was a DJ as a female.
That's his dog.
When I was a female, I did have a lot of times, and not to be this whole like Me Too thing, there are a lot of times where men's yeses were more important than my no's. There was a lot of, in the early stages, men trying to get something out of me sexually in order to receive gigs and things like that.
I guess that's a common thing out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the business.
Yeah. Yeah, but
what about somewhere like in Ibiza or something? Is it? Did you spend time there, or are you just sort of coming in and out?
Oh, I lived there for 4 months as a TV presenter. What about Ibiza?
Like is it like that? Like you're at the peak of the DJ world, right? You know.
I got to meet a lot of my idols, and I was really, really thankful that they were very respectful. And then it's the club owners, it's the promoters,
the sleaze bags.
It's the promoters. It makes my strings crawl, some of the memories that I have. But yeah, it's more so the people behind the scenes. I found the musicians and the DJs and the people really doing well, just being these really awesome human beings.
Exactly. And they're the ones, I've met a lot of them through the magazine days. I'm not sure what's happening in the magazine now, but we used to do a magazine for the last 20 years. But the most humble people you'd meet are the ones that are the superstars,
Yeah.
That's ironic. And Lisbon versus Barcelona.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Barcelona is my greatest love. It's where I truly grew into the human that I am. But there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of noise there. There's much more parties. When I moved over to Lisbon, I was 29 and I was looking for a bit more peace, not only in my DJ career, but just in life in general. And I felt that Lisbon gave me that more peace. But I had a residency at this incredible rooftop party every month in Barcelona called a Típico. It was my family. So I got to go back every month, go on the big crazy chaos, go out Friday, get home Monday, and then go back to Lisbon and have this really beautiful, peaceful life. So they both are beautiful in very, very different ways.
And you're doing the sound therapy over there in Europe as well? Or is this before?
I did it. I only started sound therapy when we hit COVID on the 17th of March. But when the world did open up a little bit, I got to perform in many yoga studios, many parks. I collaborated with a few online places as well. And yeah, just before I came here, I went to Barcelona for a weekend. So, yeah, got to take it to some places.
Yeah, so you've been doing quite a lot of recording, right? Like production.
Yes.
Is that right? Since when?
So you mean musically?
Musically.
Yeah, so I've been producing for many, many years. I stopped about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago now. And I'm currently Kaiser, who's been on here before. That's my best friend, my partner in crime. We're actually in the studio creating all of these different sound therapies and meditations for all different kinds of mental health issues, all different kinds of body problems. And yeah, so that's kind of my focus right now. I think that I had a really beautiful 10 years of producing and DJing, and now I'm more on the helping people side of sound now.
And what's the success rate with this sound healing, but for people actually with mental health issues? How many do they all get something out of it, or is it like a hit and miss?
I had a client online and a client in real life today, and what differentiated between them was my first client came to me. She was going through a really big fear of abandonment, and that fear was sticking in her stomach, and she was like almost bent over, very, very fearful. I took her through some breath work and a sound meditation, and she came out of it. And I wish that I took a photo of people's faces going in and then coming out, because they have this big facelift and soul lift. And what we did is we really released that fear that she was feeling in her body. The second person who came to me for the live sound healing was someone that I met at Bloom Festival, and he said that he had just received some news from work before he walked in. He didn't tell me about it, and he went into this very dreamlike state for the first half an hour where he forgot about his problems, and then the brain, the rat race starts to wake up, the monkey brain, and he started to get consumed by his thoughts, and I could tell that, so I was trying to kind of bring him back down. But either way, our bodies are, whatever you want to say, 70 to 80% water. And what happens in my sound bowls when I play water, the molecules change, it tastes different, it looks different. So something is happening to your nervous system when you have a sound healing, whether you go deep or whether you just lay there for an hour. Something's beautiful is really happening to your nervous system.
Did you bring any bowls with you?
I didn't. I was too scared. I've had a few break and they're like $1,000 each. So I was like, no, I'm not going to.
What are they made of?
They're made of crystal, infused crystal. But if you would like, I post a lot of sound healings on my Instagram.
So anybody can get on Lolah's Instagram, Lolah Music. And check out the, what do you call it? The sound healing.
Sound therapy, sound healing, sound ear massage, sound bath,
So what do you think is going to happen in the future? You it's kind of similar, being a DJ and sound healing, but it's I guess it's a different way of life. So where do you think you're going to be in a year from now?
I'll be running retreats. The online program that I created with my hypnotist was meant to be a 4-day retreat, which we turned into a 6-week online program. So I see myself having retreats where people come and just completely have a mind revamp, because there's all these retreats in Bali, like come and go on a juice cleanse, and people don't really integrate it into their real life. I want people to come and identify their limiting self-beliefs, spin them on their head, cut them forever, and then go back into the world shifted. In regards to DJing, I do see myself playing again eventually when the world becomes normal again. And I'm writing a novel, which I'm currently in the process of finding the right team to produce the pilot. So yeah, I've got my finger in many of my own pies.
You're writing a novel, but you're looking for a pilot series or something.
Yeah.
What's that about?
It's about the bulimic DJ who sold everything she owned in one morning and bought a ticket to Barcelona and catapulted into the million adventures I've been on. I was in bed with my best friend last weekend, and she looked at my camera roll on my phone from 2 years ago. She goes, 2 months on your camera roll is someone's entire life. Like the shit that I've seen and some of the adventures that I found myself in, that's a whole different story. Do
you think that's a DJ kind of lifestyle, or is it just a Lolah lifestyle?
It's not just like, oh, I played in this country and I ended up at this after finding this happen. It's like, no, I was in the right place, and had I been in a different place 15 seconds earlier, I wouldn't have met this person, and I wouldn't have had my whole entire universe flipped on its side, and then it's just riding the waves of synchronicity. My whole life.
And you're still doing that.
It never stops.
But anyway, you're going to be doing a DJ set for us tonight.
I am, my first in a while. So
wow. So how about that? And what's it going to be about? What is it after a year of not doing it?
I'm going to do a mixture of all of the beautiful tracks that I have heard over the past year that I haven't been able to express to people. Throw in a few of my old favorites. And I have no idea. I'm just going to ride the waves of synchronicity.
Before we get into that, does this new lifestyle of yours with the health and the healing, it means you don't party anymore?
I still party, not to the extent I don't take drugs anymore. I still love a glass of wine. I'm the fun healer.
Yeah, for the fun people.
For the fun people.
Just to take a step back, perhaps.
Yeah. But I don't get a kick out of it like I used to. Like when I first got to Bali, I did go on a little tiny bender, and I was like, ooh, that doesn't touch the sides anymore. I feel like what I was seeking back then, constantly staying out, I kind of have in my daily life now, so I don't feel the need to numb or get out of it. So when I'm having a really damn good time, I stick around. When I'm not, I go home.
Sure. So what about the festival you're at on the weekend?
Well, I was glamping there, so I had my own. I had my own little headquarters, and a whole nother subject I could go on to. I use mushrooms for mental health, and I was taking mushrooms last weekend and had this really beautiful experience that kind of shifted a lot inside of me.
There's a lot of documents on the benefits of psilocybin and MDMA with mental health issues, but and we figure one day it's all going to be legal.
Yeah, I hope so.
For mental health issues,
I've
for whatever.
Really I've fixed not only myself, but I'm now currently doing it for my father, and it's having really, really amazing benefits that I could not have gotten without them. So
they're kind of getting more in touch with themselves. Is that what it's all about?
They're just an intelligence. If you look at them beneath the earth, how they interconnect underneath the earth, it's kind of what they do to your subconscious mind. They like pull out, that neural pathway that leads to addiction and kind of puts them on, and they're just working in the background. It's really...
And it's very natural, right?
Natural, powerful shit.
All right. So I reckon we should get ready for the the DJ set.
Let's do it.
DJ
Do I keep
Lolah.
these in?
Well, wait a minute. We're just going to have to put some music on and turn off the lights and then come back on. So, because this is going to be a bit of a setup. So hold on, everybody. We're going to be back very soon.
You don't see that. I don't hesitate. I don't hesitate. I know it. I don't hesitate. I love it. I know it. I don't hesitate. I want the moment. I know it. I don't hesitate. I love it. I know it. I don't hesitate. I want the moment. I know
wants a lover right now, but she's like no other. She ain't gonna wait till the morning light to find him. She's a fine sister, but no daylight kind of girl. She only wanna make it right, and she's gonna make it all right tonight.